I got the news that I was gonna be a dad. I got the news that I was gonna be a dad, first daughter, at a young age, 21, and I think that's when I realized that I needed to take that opportunity, and start doing something not just for me, but now someone else, that's gonna be depending on me. Financial problems at that time, not having enough money for rent or bills. I was like I mentioned, jumping job from agency to agency, and I didn't really have a stable job. And like I mentioned, the financial was really hard to, keep stable. Paying rent, man, it was really hard to come up with it because when I had my daughter, uh, her mother was, staying at home at the moment, and I was the one only being the supplier at that time. I was excited. I really was into it, and I thought this was gonna be what I wanted at that time, and it was what I wanted. I had that passion for art at that time, but at that time, it was a struggle just coming up. As an artist, we start from the bottom, at scratch and stuff, and it was exciting. And at the same time, it was some like some nervous around there, because I didn't know what I was getting myself into, because it's a big difference, from paper to skin. It's not the same. A lot of people say I could do it. It's easy, seems easy, but when the needle's seeing the skin, it's a whole different thing. You could damage your skin real bad. I was scared at first. Uh, I started tattooing on myself, and I had buddies of mine that helped me out a lot. They gave me their skin to like tattoo and stuff, and it was scary just because I didn't know what I really was getting into, and I didn't know how to work the skin or the machine at that time. But it helped me out a lot that they gave me that help and offered themselves like to get tattooed by me at that moment when I first started. It was a big step that I took right there. Tattooing someone else's skin. I was having a lot of doubts in myself. I was like, I don't know, should I do it? Well, is the needle gonna penetrate my skin too deep? Am I gonna honestly, in my head, I was like, am I gonna get some type of disease on it? Honestly, I was scared. I was scared at the moment. I was really scared and doubting myself. But something told me, just do it, take that step, and you'll get better. Things will get better at the end. Honestly, it's out of this whole context of tattooing. It was my pastor. He told me, if someone like the advice of like not never giving up, just go for it. Don't whatever don't whatever brings you down, make sure you just get back up and brush it off, like if it's nothing, and just keep going. Because I was going through a rough time at that time when I was going through a breakup with my ex and stuff, and he gave me that advice, don't don't wait for no one, do it yourself. Honestly, it helped me out a lot. I was going through some depression at that time, and he said, value yourself as well. He and another thing was that he told me, you can't love no one else if you don't love yourself. You gotta love yourself first before you're able to love someone else. I think I would have, I don't know where I would have been at the time if it wasn't for my pastor. His name was Jesus, and he helped me out a lot, man. Honestly, uh, church helped me out a lot as well. Kind of put me in a straight path. Honestly, like I said, I was going through a real bad breakup with my ex. I wanted to make things better, but like I mentioned, he said if you're not, he gave me an advice. One thing he told me, like he gave me an example. Like say for example, you gotta be good to help someone else. And the example he gave me is like, think about it like this: a tornado happens, you're with your family, um, and you see your wife, like, with a broken leg, your kid, hurt as well. If you can't, if you're not healed or you're not okay, how can you help your wife to get up? You gotta be you yourself gotta be good and stuff. You can't help out someone else if you're not in a good condition either. That tattooing career didn't end up the way I wanted to go. Uh, like I mentioned, it was always a financial and means stable, and uh, my daughter, she was just a newborn, and I needed some type of income to support the family, but tattooing wasn't making it. So at that time, I kind of pushed a tattoo to the side and made it like a part time, and I was just going back to working agency through agency, looking for a stable job. The whole 9 to 5 job thing, which it wasn't what I really wanted, but it was something that I needed to do, to get some type of income to support the family, help me pay my bills, and pay rent and have a roof over my daughter and some food to feed her. When I knew it was time, and things were gonna come together, I had a conversation with my partner that I'm with right now. We spoke about it. We took some when I took some time off my other job, my full time job, the 9 to 5 job. Um, we spoke about it, had a deep conversation on what I really wanted to do. And I had told her, tattooing is what I really wanted. That's what's calling my name, for the art and stuff. And she told me that whatever I chose, that she was gonna be there, 100% support me. And I had other things in the way as well. I even took a pharmacy class, graduated from that little career thing, and it it still didn't call my name. That didn't call my name. Pharmacy didn't call my name. Uh, Construction didn't call my name. I did that a couple of times. Tattooing was calling my name, and we spoke about it, and with my lady, and I took that step. Once I had my newborn, I realized that's what I wanted. I wanted to be with my family, manage my own time, and not be running up and down and having little time to spend with my family. Not even just close to my family, cause with my old jobs, I know I felt like I wasn't myself. I didn't feel like I was giving it all. When I was with my family, I was always you could say not stressed, but not all there. Some little things take me off. I wasn't in my all state of mind there, because I was just thinking about work. Sunday came, I was already like, man, Monday's coming. I got work the next day. So it took though that type of job took a lot of time away from my family. Not that tattooing doesn't, but being bossed around is not not something that I didn't want. And to come home, you know, another thing that my pastor say, your problems out there, leave them outside. You just leave your problems outside the door. Come with your family. But I wasn't able to do that. It was just bothering me. Work was just bothering me, because it was really stressful out there. I was working graveyard that side too. So I didn't really have time to spend with my oldest daughter, nor time with my family. It was just work, go to sleep, work, go to sleep. Just same routine. And then it felt like I said it wasn't me. I didn't really feel like I was with the in that world. I wasn't there. And just recently that I started this week with Happy. Appreciate that he gave me that opportunity. I felt good, honestly. It felt good inside. Like, man, this is what I really wanted. It changed up a lot. Like, my feeling, like, damn, I was really I could say I was like a kid. I was really happy, man. I was happy that I got the chance to, work at a shop, and be there, doing what I really want, and drawing and, sharing stories, of art, learning more stuff, from art, because I think there's a never ending a knowledge, in art. You always learn something new every time. Thinking about it or running running it through my through my head and stuff. It was always just take action, just jump on it, just do it. But I mean, there's times where you should just do it, but there's times where you gotta think through some stuff. Especially now, like I said, now that I have a family, I really think about it a lot of things now. I think about it twice before doing it. Is it gonna not just is it gonna affect me, but how is it gonna affect my family too? You can't just take that big that leap, and just do it, because like I mentioned, it's not just about me no more. I have my two daughters, and I always think about them, because at the end, something happens to me, I always think about what's gonna happen to my daughter, my two girls. I always think about that before I take action or do something. I want to make sure it's something positive, and then being negative at the end. I wish I would have taken that chance way before. Of sacrificing everything for what I really wanted. This career of tattooing and drawing. I wish I would have done that back then instead of now. Because back then I'm pretty sure from that time to this to this to this to the to this time, I could say I would have been at you could say advanced. I would have been little better than what I am right now. But there's always room for better and good. But that's one thing I should have done before. Took that sacrifice. So I wouldn't have to struggle. It's a hard thing to do, but at the end it's gonna be worth it. My advice, if it's something you love, you gotta make those sacrifices. Then do it. Just do it. Because at the end, you'll be regretting it or telling yourself like, I should have done it sooner. I should have done it at that moment. Like that conversation I had with that guy. It was the same similar situation he was going through, just like me. He wants to tattoo. He wants to get into that career, and I told him just take it, just do it. Don't think about it too much, because the opportunity is there. Take it, grab it, and just do it. I feel like I'm myself now. I'm there with my family. I'm focused on them. Back then it was not what I thought it was. I was not living the real life. I was just in my own zone, and it changed up a lot, because now I'm able to give time to the right people. It's always good to give your time to the right people, and not just just give it to anyone just like that. Because time is worth a lot, honestly. Yeah, and you can't get that back. I really I think not that I really think about it too much, but I see I try to analyze it right, and not just think about it like, oh, it's not an opportunity. So I think all those things, I just take them as like things that are coming my way, positive things, and try not to make it a negative thing. Take the advice, and if it what's it called? If you think you could put it into use, then use it. But actually take it. No, don't just hear it. Get it one ear and then come out the other ear. Take that advice, and if you could put it to use, then do it. But if it's not for you, at least hear it out. It could help you out, or that advice you could use it with someone else and advise them. It might help the other person out. I was taking some time off from work, because my lady was gonna be due anytime soon. And like I mentioned, we had a deep conversation, and to just take that step and grab that chance and or opportunity, to tattoo and actually do what I really wanted. And like I mentioned, it is the way I thought it was gonna be. Where I'm in my zone and I'm able to express my my art and stuff, and able to speak about tattoos and drawings and all this art knowledge, grow more, and learn, because uh, there's no like I already know everything, because I don't, you know, uh, like happy, mention, like, you learn a lot of things from different artists, you meet other artists, and it's something good, because uh, throughout my the time I was tattooing, there's a lot I went through, some artists that they don't want to teach, they don't want to give that knowledge, they just wanted to keep it to themselves. A family and the passion, of art and just tattooing and drawing. I would say grow a new style of art. Honestly, I want to step out of my zone and learn other stuff, realism, portraits and stuff like that, I want to grow into the art, not just make money, but make sure people are happy with what they get.